Hallo und willkommen. So hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me, Silky Learn German, for this new video. So in today's lesson you're going to learn how to order in a cafe in German and how to pay. Okay, so obviously the first thing that you'll need to know is to be able to understand what the waiter or the waitress might say to you. So the first thing that you might hear from the waiter or waitress could be, what would you like? So either bitte schön, or they might say, was möchten Sie? So I'll repeat that, so it would be bitte schön, was möchten Sie? They might say to you, what can I get you? Was kann ich Ihnen bringen? I'll repeat that, so that would be, was kann ich Ihnen bringen? The waiter or waitress might ask you, have you chosen? Haben Sie schon gewählt? I'll repeat that. Haben Sie schon gewählt? If the waiter or waitress sort of wants to ask you, is there anything else, or you finished something, they could say to you, sonst noch etwas? I'll repeat that. It would be sonst noch etwas. I'll run through these ones again. So we've got bitte schön, was möchten Sie? Was kann ich Ihnen bringen? Haben Sie schon gewählt? Sonst noch etwas? Obviously the next thing that you will need to know is how to actually order. There are different ways of doing that. As long as you can remember one, that's obviously the most important thing. You don't have to remember all of them. So when you want to place your order, when you're ready, you could say, ich möchte oder ich hätte gern. Both of them are I would like. So it's either ich möchte oder ich hätte gern. You might want to say I'll take, which would be ich nehme. So I'll read through those again. Ich möchte, ich hätte gern oder ich nehme. So the next thing that we'll come to then is how to order a hot drink. Now obviously there's lots of hot drinks that you can choose from and that you might want to order, so it's only ever going to be a selection here. The good thing is that a lot of the words you probably will be able to work out what they mean, because they're very similar to the English. So some of the ones then are einen Kaffee, and it would always start, the sentence would be ich nehme. So for example, ich nehme einen Kaffee. You might want to say, ich nehme einen Tee. If you want a regular tea, you can just say, ich nehme einen Schwarztee. So in Germany, for example, you'll find a lot of different teas, or a lot of herbal teas, a lot of fruit teas, etc. So if you just want your sort of standard tea, you would just say, ich nehme einen Schwarztee, bitte. Ich nehme einen Kräutertee, would get you a herbal tea. Ich nehme einen Pfefferminztee, would be a peppermint tea. Ich nehme einen Kamilletee, would be a chamomile tea. And the last tea, ich nehme einen Früchtetee, would be a fruit tea. You might want to have a cappuccino, in which case you would ask for einen Cappuccino. So, ich nehme einen Cappuccino. If you'd like a hot chocolate, you would say, ich nehme eine heiße Schokolade. So I'll read those again, and obviously feel free to repeat them. I'll always leave a little pause during which you can just repeat the words just to get used to the pronunciation. So, ich nehme einen Kaffee. Ich nehme einen Tee. Ich nehme einen Schwarztee. Ich nehme einen Kräutertee. Ich nehme einen Pfefferminztee. Ich nehme einen Kamilletee. Ich nehme einen Früchtetee. Ich nehme einen Cappuccino. Ich nehme eine heiße Schokolade. So feel free obviously to pause the video now And just go through these to learn them, to repeat them a few times. You might want to replay this section just to get used to the words, the pronunciation, etc. And obviously I would say learn the ones that you're likely to order. If you're never going to have a fruity, you might not need to learn that word. So obviously pick out the ones that are relevant for you. So the next section then is going to be ordering a cold drink. So similar, you would start with ich nehme. Ich nehme ein Mineralwasser. Would obviously get you a mineral water. Ich nehme ein Mineralwasser. Ich nehme einen Orangensaft. I take an orange juice. Ich nehme eine Limonade, lemonade. Oder ich nehme eine Cola. I'll take a Coke. So I'm just going to go through these again. And again, I'll try to always allow a pause during which you can repeat the words. Okay? So ich nehme ein Mineralwasser. Ich nehme einen Orangensaft. So note, it's almost a French pronunciation here, Orangensaft. Ich nehme eine Limonade. Ich nehme eine Cola. Again, feel free to pause now, go through these. There are now some measurements that you might need. So if you wanted to ask, for example, for a cup of coffee or a pot of tea, a glass of lemonade, you'll obviously need to know the measurements. So here we'll go through some of the measurements. Eine Tasse is a cup. So if you wanted to have a cup of coffee, or you'd need to say, ich nehme eine Tasse Kaffee. Ein Kännchen. So note the chen, ein Kännchen is a pot. So ein Kännchen Tee would be a pot of tea. Ein Glas is a glass. So ich nehme ein Glas Limonade would get you a glass of lemonade. And finally we've got eine Flasche, which is a bottle. So ich nehme eine Flasche Mineralwasser bitte would get you a bottle of mineral water. I'll go through these ones again. Feel free to repeat. Eine Tasse, ein Kännchen, ein Glas, eine Flasche. So obviously when you're in a cafe, you might want to order a snack. You're unlikely to get a big meal in a cafe. And again, there are obviously lots of items of food that you can order in a cafe, and obviously your best bet is to look through the menu. So I've just picked out a few. Hopefully they will be the ones that are useful to you. Hopefully there might be some that are applicable to you, but obviously there's such a variety, I couldn't possibly cover all of them. So hopefully these will be useful. Again, I'll just go through them. The second time I'll try to allow a pause for you to repeat. So you might want to order a slice or a piece of cake. So you would say, ich nehme ein Stück Kuchen. Ich nehme ein Stück Kuchen. So ein Stück is a slice or a piece. You might want to order a sandwich. You can just say, ich nehme oder ich möchte ein Sandwich. That's absolutely fine. If you wanted a cheese sandwich, for example, you could say, ich möchte ein Käse sandwich. But more traditionally, the word is Brot. And in front of the word Brot, you would have whichever sandwich it is you'd like. So for example, if you wanted a cheese sandwich, you would say, ich nehme ein Käsebrot. Ich nehme ein Käsebrot. If you wanted a ham sandwich, you would say, ich nehme ein Schinkenbrot. So Schinken is ham. So ich nehme ein Schinkenbrot. The word for baguette, it's very easy, it's the same as in French. So ich nehme ein Baguette. I'll go through these again now, so feel free to repeat. I'll try to allow a pause. Ich nehme ein Stück Kuchen. Ich nehme ein Sandwich. Ich nehme ein Käsebrot. Ich nehme ein Schinkenbrot. Ich nehme ein Baguette. So the final section then is going to be how you'd actually pay. So how do you get the waiter or waitress's attention, and how do you say I'd like the bill or I'd like to pay? So the easiest way to get someone's attention would be to say Entschuldigung. Now Entschuldigung means excuse me, or it can mean I'm sorry. But you know, it's just one of the easiest ways, maybe the most polite way of getting someone's attention. So you would say Entschuldigung. To tell them that you'd like to pay, you've got two options here. One is maybe, well, easier to remember because it's a lot shorter. So you can either say Ich möchte zahlen bitte. Ich möchte zahlen bitte. Or you could just say zahlen bitte. Absolutely fine, it's not impolite, and it's obviously a lot easier to remember. So you can say Entschuldigung, ich möchte zahlen bitte. Or you can say Entschuldigung, zahlen bitte. If you want to ask for the bill, you would say die Rechnung bitte. Rechnung is the bill. So die Rechnung is the bill. So you could say to the waiter or waitress, Entschuldigung, die Rechnung bitte. If you want to leave a tip and you've maybe got an amount of cash that you're handing over and you want to say to them, keep the change, you would say stimmt so. Stimmt so means that's fine, that's okay, keep the change. Stimmt so. So I'll run through these again, obviously again allowing you to repeat them. Entschuldigung. Ich möchte zahlen bitte. Zahlen bitte. Die Rechnung bitte. Stimmt so. Okay, so that concludes this session and this lesson, where you learned some of the key words, some of the key phrases that you would need when you're going into a cafe, when you're wanting to order, and when you then want to pay. So what I've done on my website, so if you go to Silke Learn German and you click on Adults, and then you go to Eating and Drinking, you've got some more resources to practice. So you've got a quiz there, you've got a worksheet there. A lot of the resources are free, so you can just go to the website and obviously use them and practice, but some of them are subscription only. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, if you found it useful. So, vielen Dank für heute und auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss.